But, there's some serious questions about a lot of the financial issues arising out of the BLM group, and it's a kind of a loosely affiliated group of different people with different interests. There's one lady, Patrice Cullors, and we've talked about her before. Remember, she's the one that acquired the 3 houses pretty suspiciously all around the time that BLM was getting all of those donations. Well, guess what's come out now? Now what's come out to me is a huge smoking gun. Of course, why is the media even talking about this? Why isn't this writ large? Hey, don't donate to BLM. Well, unless you want to do it in full knowledge of what they're doing with the money, because it's come out now that in October of 2020, this was only 2 weeks after BLM received $66.5 million of a cash infusion. The group decided to purchase a mansion in Los Angeles, and they purchased a mansion for $5.8 million, paid for it in cash, and this is what they call one of their campuses. And they have these ideas where we can shoot videos there, our founders can meet there, they can go back and have a relaxation retreat and all this. Okay. So, that sounds kind of reasonable, right? Other than it's $5.8 million, that sounds kind of reasonable. Well, how about this? Let's throw this little factoid in there. 6 days before BLM purchased it for $5.8 million, somebody else purchased it 6 days earlier. You want to know how much that person paid for it?
$12 million.
No, Pat George, you're going the wrong direction.
No.
That person paid $3.1 million 6 days earlier. Oh, and guess who that person was? That person is Diane Pascal, the financial manager for Janaya and Patrice, that's Patrice Cullors, Janaya and Patrice Consulting, which is an LLC that Cullors and her spouse, Janaya Khan, operate. So the manager for that LLC purchased the property for $3.1 million, and 6 days later by the way, how many renovations do you think you can do in 6 days? 6 days later, flipped a $3.1 million purchase to a $5.8 million purchase. Where did the 2.7, that's double the price, right? Where did the $2.7 million of profit go? Did it go into Diane Pascal's account, you think? You think these are just her buddies just clued her in, hey, buy this house because we're getting ready to way overpay for it? That is just serious fraud going on. And we've got other examples of this. We can look at a lot of politicians. Stacey Abrams in 4 years has increased her net worth by 3,000%. We've talked about now 3,000%. That's not 3 times. That's 30 times. This lady was dead broke 4 years ago. She had huge credit card debt, and now she's worth several $million, 3.17 to be exact. We got the same thing with Joe Biden. Almost his whole public career, he was broke. He was living paycheck to paycheck, and now all of a sudden he's got multiple homes and everything else. And did that come from the 10% for the big guy that we read about in all of Hunter's emails with his supposed business partners, which obviously they weren't running a real business. They were running these board consultancies and other graft operations that were trading off the Biden name, and all of a sudden Biden's got multiple homes, no money problems, Hunter's driving around in a Porsche as we saw, etc. So, the graft, the waste, fraud, and abuse that's going on is just unbelievable, and it goes across the public and the private structures, and you need to watch out for these people who play on your heartstrings. A lot of people call them grifters. You need to watch out with giving money away, particularly on these online donation drives that we see cropping up everywhere. It's like people, and look, I get it, sometimes it's tough to deal with your own problems, and sometimes those healthcare costs are unexpected and expensive. But boy, if we don't see every time something happens to somebody, they're putting up a GoFundMe. Every time something happens to anybody, it's like that's the answer. They're ready to go with their GoFundMe campaign. And I just think you got to be a little suspicious about that. That culturally did not exist 20 years ago. Let's just, you don't remember anybody saying, you don't remember me coming to you years ago, Pat George, say, Pat George, I had this unexpected dental cleaning that I just hadn't budgeted for. You think you could kick me $10 to, help me offset that cost a little bit?
It's electronic panhandling.
Exactly, Pat George. Thank you for listening to the Morgan Streetman Show. We hope you enjoyed what you heard, and if you did, please click like and subscribe to help us out. And remember that we recommend that you exercise your brain at least once a week.